Regional Director of IUCN, Mr. Mason Smith, the Director of Environment, Ms. Sandeep Singh, the Regional Consultant on Biodiversity, Mr. Herman, members of the Vanua, staff from Ministry of Environment and Waterways, ladies and gentlemen, Bula Vinaka to you all. Ladies and gentlemen, once again I'm quite delighted to be here at the Naidiri village, the Chipli village, and this time to launch the Naidiri Marine Biodiversity Park, followed by a biodiversity awareness workshop with the 30 community representatives in Nadroga, but also to commemorate the International Day of Biological Diversity 2022, celebrated each year on May 22nd. Ladies and gentlemen, the theme for this year's celebration is Building a Shared Future for All Life, which rests on the rationale that biodiversity is a platform that sustains life on Earth, that it is the nature-based solution to climate change, health issues, food and water security, and sustainable livelihoods, and as a shared natural resource. The theme coincides perfectly with the launch of the Naidiri Biodiversity Park today, an initiative of the Ministry of Environment recognizing the importance of conserving and protecting Fiji's marine biodiversity and coral reef ecosystems while supporting livelihoods of the villagers. Ladies and gentlemen, the Fijian government in the year 1992 joined 190 countries in signing the Convention on Biological Diversity, the Rio de Janeiro, and committed to protecting global biodiversity. In upholding its international obligations, the Ministry of Environment is a focal point for the CBD, endeavors to align itself to the three core objectives of the Convention, which is the conservation of biological diversity, the sustainable use of its components, and the fair and equitable sharing of the benefits arising out of the utilization of the genetic resources. Scientists have estimated that around the world, natural world contains around 8.7 million species of plants and animals. And according to the National Geographic, some scientists estimate that half of all the species on the earth will be wiped out within the next century. Unlike any other environment threats which we can reverse, extinction of biodiversity is irreversible. So biodiversity is considered by many as having an intrinsic value, meaning each species has the right to exist whether or not it is of significance to humans. So ladies and gentlemen, a study by IUCN in 2015 concluded that at the national level, the value of 7 environmental services characterized as subsistence food provision, commercial food harvesting, mineral and aggregate mining, tourism coastal protection, carbon sequestration, and research education ranged from Fijian 202,000 to Fijian 2,239 million dollars per annum. Ladies and gentlemen, Fiji is blessed with a wealth of biodiversity, some of which are endemic to Fiji, meaning that it is only found in Fiji. For example, certain ants, butterflies, birds, iguana species, to name a few. Fiji also has a list of critically endangered species that are threatened with extinction, and many of these keystone species underpin the ecological health and connectivity of Fiji's natural environment. Ladies and gentlemen, the Fijian government is working very closely with its partners to address these threats to our biodiversity and support species recovery in alignment with sustaining livelihood and enhance community benefits. Conservation efforts are required to preserve biodiversity and protect the endangered species and their habitats at a national level. Ladies and gentlemen, we have in numerous places, numerous forums, spoken about the importance of protecting our biodiversity. Our Fijian people have coexisted amongst our biological resources for ages. Our lifestyle, our culture, our livelihood are intrinsically related to the biological diversity. And it is now taken for granted that our quality of life of our people is basically dependent on the quality of biological resources that we have. For years, we have benefited and coexisted with our biological resources. Our people have extracted resources from the biodiversity, whether it's food, whether it's timber or non-timber forest product, whether it's medicines, whether it's weaving material, whether it's material to enhance our environment. But now we see that our quest for rapid growth and development, mining activities, industrial activities, commercial activities, agricultural activities, are all threatening the basic stock of biological resources. In this endeavor, we need to do three things. One is to talk to these players in the society, in the economy, to minimize or prevent any damage to our biological resources. Second is to build resilience amongst the existing stock of our biological resources so that any threat or any damage or any shock will minimize the damage to the existing stock of biological resources, and it will quickly bounce back to its original state in a very short period of time. Third is to do what we want, what we're going to do today, is to go and create additional stock of biological resources to add on to the existing stock of biological resources. And therefore, the Ministry of Environment is now engaged in establishing biodiversity parks throughout the country. This is not the first park we've established. There's a number of other parks that we established in the Central Division and in the Western Division as well. The Central Division closer to Suva, Lami. Here today, we have done a few in the Western Division in Nadroga. So ladies and gentlemen, it is the responsibility of the heads of various decision-making units, starting right from the village to government, to ensure that we have a mass movement towards, one, appreciating the existing stock of biological resources we have, and number two, to educate those around us who are continuously on a daily basis interacting with the biological resources, whether it's children, whether it's hunters, whether it's those who are extracting and gathering resources from our biological resources. Talk to them to extract, if it means to extract in a sustainable manner. Also, we need to now face an external threat, the threat of climate change, which is affecting the existing stock of biological resources. Our coastal resources are being degraded gradually due to rising sea level, coastal erosion, and with it, the biological resources are being lost. There are other threats such as fire, Amazon, Australia. Millions of flora and fauna was lost. Some of those would have been endemic species. We are now struggling to protect our crested iguana. We need to ensure that you all are with us, particularly the landowners, the custodians of our Ngolingoli, our biological resources. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to assure you that government will play its part. We've got international organizations, regional organizations who are assisting us. We are very particular about environment. Government is very particular, and government understands the importance of environment, not only in the longer run quality of life, but also how important it is to the people, ordinary people, those who are living in the rural, maritime, and interior area. So we want to ensure that we will continue to hive out resources to assist the community to ensure that they not only protect the resources, but enhance and add value to the existing stock of biological resources. So in doing so, I want to take this opportunity on this International Day of Biodiversity that we need to have a mass movement of people to protect our biological resources. If anyone has any doubt, then ask those who are in urban areas in the advanced country who are desperate and eager to come out and spend some time amongst the nature. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I know, but 2 years ago I was at the residence of the Japanese ambassador at Namandi Heights, and I met the wife of the Japanese ambassador. So we were having social at the back, and she said to me that look at the green nature outside. He said, this is something that we can't see in the middle of a city in Japan. So she said, I'm blessed to be here, even though it's for a short period of time, 3 years or so. So ladies and gentlemen, Prala, thank you very much for hosting us here, and thank you for allowing us to establish a biodiversity park, and happy Biodiversity Day to everyone. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, allow me to perhaps say a few remarks in the English language. I understand from the discussions that have taken place that the theme for this year's Biodiversity Day is a shared future for all. And perhaps that leads us to pause and ask the question, is what kind of future do we want for our children? I think it is a future that will be dependent on what we do today. And I think what we're going to witness today is one of the many steps that we are taking, not only at the community level, but at the national level, to protect biodiversity, to protect the sources of our food from the sea, sources of our protein, our water sources, and the very ecosystem that our future depends on. So I'm very honored to be here this afternoon to participate in this commemorative event as you launch the Marine Biodiversity Park. For those of you who are perhaps not aware, we conducted a recent National Biodiversity Threat Assessment with the Ministry of Environment under the BioDev 2030 project. I have the project officer here with me. And the assessment with the help of the consultants who are also here with us this afternoon basically indicated what perhaps we already knew, that the loss of biodiversity in Fiji is driven by the loss of our forest, na kenando tamusuki na veikauloa, due to agricultural activities, na kena teivaki chigonanonda ngele, invasive species, and the overexploitation of natural resources through overfishing and overharvesting of our aquatic resources. Na kena singindong golivi va matua se va matau na nonda golingoli and the saiviti. And I think the economic sectors that the assessment pointed out was 1, agriculture, and 2, coastal fisheries. And I'm glad this afternoon that we will be addressing one of those drivers through the launch of the Marine Biodiversity Park that will ensure a shared future for your children and their children in the years to come. As the Honorable Minister alluded to, this will basically mean that you are safeguarding the future of your children through the actions you are taking today. And I'm sure that with the help of the ministry and the government and also of IUCN, we're here to provide technical support and perhaps any funding support that we can gather to also add value to the marine park that you're going to launch today. So with those few words, let me close by saying, by saving biodiversity, you are not only creating and ensuring a shared, secured future for you today, but also for our children. Jika sana turang ana tambani bono, jika na turang marambali ni benua, jika sana turang na teltala, jika na lengudreu, main jika na gubos na kabnikua, sabasana kinele.